Hey everybody, it's Mrs. Kerwin, and it is this week's 5 Minute 5. It's a book talk featuring the genre fantasy fiction. And fantasy fiction has specific elements and characteristics, such as talking animals. Sometimes it has characters that have magical powers, mythical beings like dragons, and sometimes it's set in a medieval universe that has princes and princesses and knights and things like that, as well as dragons. So basically, fantasy novels are the opposite of realistic fiction in that the elements of them are not realistic at all. Obviously, talking animals, not realistic. Animals do not talk. People don't normally have magical powers unless they're a magician pretending to have magical powers, etc. Some popular fantasy novels that also some of them you may have seen in movie form. Harry Potter, definitely, that has magic. The One and Only Ivan has talking animal. The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings, set back in a medieval universe, has dragons. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, again, magical elements, and A Wrinkle in Time. So we're going to get started with 5 new books that I want to talk about right now. And the first one, number 1, is called A Snicker of Magic. And it is by an author named Natalie Lloyd. So here we go. A Snicker of Magic. Midnight Gulch used to be a magical place, a town where people could sing up a thunderstorm or dance up sunflowers. But that was long ago, before a curse drove the magic away. 12-year-old Felicity knows all about things like that. Her nomadic mother is cursed with a wandering heart, which means that she moves from place to place. She never stays in any place for a long time. But when she arrives in Midnight Gulch, Felicity thinks her luck's about to change. A word collector, Felicity sees words everywhere, shining above strangers, tucked into church eaves, and tangled up in her dog's floppy ears. But Midnight Gulch is the first place she'd ever seen the word home. And then there's Jonah, a mysterious, spiky-haired do-gooder who shimmers with words Felicity's never seen before. Words that make Felicity's heart beat a little faster. Felicity wants to stay in Midnight Gulch more than anything. Will she figure out how to bring back the magic, breaking the spell that's been cast over the town? Will she be able to heal her mother's broken heart? Read A Snicker of Magic by Natalie Lloyd to find out. Okay, next up is Echo by Pam Munoz Ryan, who's an actual very, very popular author. And this one won recently in 2016. It won a Newbery Award. So that's a huge award for children's books. And so this comes very highly recommended. So here we go. This story starts, as any good story does, with a fairy tale. When Otto gets lost in the woods during a game of hide and seek, he's rescued by 3 mysterious sisters who are trapped in the forest by a witch's curse. In exchange for saving his life, the sisters ask Otto to help them break the witch's curse by carrying their spirits out into the world via inside of a harmonica. So he has to carry their spirits out into the world inside of a harmonica. That's how they're going to be released. When the time is right, they ask that Otto pass the harmonica along to another person. Over the years, Otto's harmonica travels across time and space and finds a home with several young, talented musicians. Friedrich in Nazi Germany, Mike in Pennsylvania during the Great Depression, and Ivy in California during the World War II. Will the harmonica save each person's life? Will it break the spell? Read Echo by Pam Munoz Ryan to find out. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Next up is this one. Number 3 is something called Akata Witch. And it is considered the Nigerian Harry Potter. Nigeria is a country in Africa. So if you love Harry Potter, I definitely recommend you try this one out. It is a similar kind of a story, but it's set in Africa, and which gives it a totally different spin, and it's pretty amazing. So here we go. It is set in Nigeria, a country in Africa, and it is a heart-pounding tale of magic, mystery, and finding one's place in the world. Just like Harry did in Harry Potter. 12-year-old Sunny lives in Nigeria, but she was born in America. Her features are African, but she's albino. Albino people don't have any melanin. That's like it's kind of like the thing in your skin that gives your skin skin tone, color, is melanin, and it's what gets darker when you get tan. And she has none in her skin. So if you've ever seen an albino person, they have no melanin. They're very, very pale skin. A lot of times they have, white hair, and sometimes they even have pink eyes. You probably have seen albino bunnies before. They're very common, all white bunnies with the red eyes. It happens to people as well too. So she is an albino. She's a terrific athlete, but she can't go out in the sun to play soccer because her skin doesn't have melanin, doesn't have that protector. When you get tan, it's actually a way that your skin protects the melanin, and you getting tan actually protects you from the sun. By getting a little darker, you're protected from the sun. And she has no melanin, so she has no way to get a little darker, so she just burns completely. So she can't go out in the sun. There seems to be no place where she fits in. And then she discovers something amazing. She's a free agent with magical powers that she didn't know about. Soon she's part of a quartet of magic students studying the visible and invisible, learning to change reality. But will it be enough to help them when they are asked to catch a career criminal who knows magic too? Read Akata Witch to find out. So she and 3 other students end up going to a school like Harry Potter did to learn magic, and they're tasked with stopping this criminal, but the criminal also knows magic. So it's a battle between good and evil type of story. So that one definitely I recommend. Okay, next up, Crenshaw. That is by Catherine Applegate, and she's the author of The One and Only Ivan, which you might be familiar with. She writes a lot of these fantasy novels that aren't about magic necessarily. They are the other kind of fantasy novel where they are about talking animals. Anything that doesn't exist in this world is considered fantasy. So magic is the one part of fantasy novels that are pretty popular. The other part is when there's talking animals, because obviously that can't exist. So here we go. The novel is this novel now. It is Crenshaw by Catherine Applegate. If you like the book, like I said, The One and Only Ivan, definitely check this one out. So here we go. It's really embarrassing when your imaginary friend keeps showing up without warning. Oh wait, it's worse when you're in 5th grade and you have an imaginary friend, as Jackson does. Jackson's imaginary friend is Crenshaw, a very, very large black and white cat with definite opinions about everything. Crenshaw tends to show up especially when things are not going well for Jackson. He first appeared in 1st grade when Jackson's dad was struggling with a disease called multiple sclerosis. And later on, closer to the present time, he started showing up when their family had lost all their money. I like Crenshaw. He leaves little gifts and signs and things that only Jackson likes, like purple jelly beans. Jackson really likes those, but Crenshaw is freaking me out a little. You know what he keeps telling Jackson? You need to tell the truth to be the person who matters the most of all. Tell the truth. And who is the person who matters the most of all? And will Crenshaw ever vanish? Or is he with Jackson for life? Read Crenshaw to find out. Okay, so here we go. Our last book is The False Prince. And if you're one of those who likes to read series, if you gravitate towards series books, like Harry Potter was a series or The Hunger Games was a series, I definitely recommend picking up The False Prince because it's part of a series. And this is the first book. So here we go. If you weren't sure when you'd have your next meal, and survived by picking pockets and stealing, you probably wouldn't care that your country's king, queen, and crown prince had been assassinated, and the younger prince is presumed dead. But if you were guaranteed a better life, a rich life, simply by pretending to be someone you weren't, wouldn't you do it? Sage and 3 other orphan boys had been rescued by Connor, a nobleman with the idea that one of them could be groomed to be the heir to the throne. The boys quickly learn that Connor's plan is devious and dangerous. All 3 boys must train to behave like a prince would, but also must keep a treasonous secret. One and only one boy will become the prince, and the rest will be killed to hide the secret. Can Sage overcome his stubbornness? His only choice may be to lie or die. Read The False Prince to find out. So that's it. So again, if you're interested in reading any of these books, I hope this got you interested in them because they're highly recommended. They're available both as audiobooks. I want you guys to remember that. You don't always have to read them. Especially now, you can't access necessarily, hardcover books. They only come in ebook form, and that's not necessarily what everyone likes to read, on your tablet or on your phone. But also, the links below will have them available as ebooks, so you can just pop in your headphones and listen to the story. So definitely check that out below. And come next week, next Wednesday, I'll have my next 5 Minute 5, and it's going to feature humor fiction. So we'll see you then.